Hello, welcome back. Get comfy and let's carry on with our story. So we left at chapter 30. Bear and Juniper had spent they'd escaped, they were in the wild and they were just having their first night in the forest. So chapter 30. Some bird is calling above us, this high-pitched trill, little snatches of song that stop only to start up again a moment or so later. Bear's out of his sleeping bag already, and I clamber up next to him. I want to say something, but I can't find the words, and anyway, it doesn't matter, because I know Bear's feeling it too. Anyone would. The scale of it, the trees right up to the sky, all green and yellow and gold, and the sunlight filtering through them, dancing down on our upturned faces. It's like the palm house, only 100 times greener, 1,000 times more fresh. That first bird's still singing, but there are different birds too, their songs weaving together. It's beautiful. But it's more than beautiful. It's alive. It worked, Bear says. We did it. Not that Jew, Bear's half irritated. The rewild. I was worried they made it up. Made up? That nature hadn't grown back, that it was still all dead. Yes, I say softly. It worked. Nature found a way. Look at the spider webs, Juniper. They're just like your drawings. I stare at them. These ornate, perfect hangings. Geometry strung between branches. Some have spiders in them, these 8-legged creatures that aren't ticks, but you're meant to be scared of anyway. There's a spider still spinning, this incredible, graceful thing with long legs. Her web spirals out from the centre as she walks. It's like a circus performer, like an acrobat. I wish I could tell Annie Rose about it, Bear says. And Etienne. Why did he have the GPS if he knew he could never leave Juniper? His nose is crinkly. I keep my voice flat. He hoped things would change one day, that the disease would burn itself out, or maybe scientists would make the vaccine. Or maybe, if things got so bad, if it was a choice between the disease or the institute, then Etienne would run into the wild anyway, even though he knew he wouldn't last out here. But I don't say the last bit. Out here, the city feels like a bad dream. There's a sudden yelp from Bear. Ow, Jew, something bit me. He's wandered into a clump of green, straggly plants. I think it's a snake, Juniper. It's burning. Burning? A snake? I say, moving towards him into the plants, reaching out for his hand. Juniper, Bear says, indignant. Do something. What if it was a tick? I look at his hand again, where little round pimples are rising out of his skin. And then I look at the plants, and I feel a prickling on my hands too. A strange sensation I've never felt before, halfway between an itch and a sharp pain. It wasn't a tick, Bear. A snake, then. I felt it, Juniper. Why are you laughing? I'm not, I say, fighting to hold back my amusement at the outrage on Bear's face. Look, it got me too, your snake. We're standing on it. Bear looks down at the ground, all quiet and excited. Where'd you? I giggle. I thought you were the naturalist. I thought you knew all this. He pulls a face at me as he looks at the green leaves around us with their little stinging hairs. He mutters the word out loud, begrudgingly. Nettles. See, I told you something stung me. Well, actually, you said bit. It could have been an adder, Juniper, and then you wouldn't be laughing. Or something worse. He's wading out of the nettles furiously. It's all right for you with your boots. I've just got my school shoes. I'm stung all over my ankles as well. Oh, Bear, I say sweetly, trying to keep a straight face. Isn't there some leaf that's meant to help with nettle stings? Don't you remember, in first aid naturally? The dock leaf, he says slowly, like he's talking to an idiot. That's right, I'll find us some. You wouldn't even know what they look like, Bear says, scowling at me. Tell me then, I coax. Describe them. I let Bear find them. Veined leaves with pinkish stems. They always grow near nettles. That's the bit I remember. The poison and the treatment, side by side. We sit rubbing the dock leaves onto our skin, crushing them against the rash. I don't know if they really help, but gradually the stinging ebbs away. Maybe it's having this moment to take it all in, that we made it out here, to where things grow and plants can sting. There's a flash of movement a few metres away and Bear's up. He slips behind a tree. "This would be the best hide and seek ever!" His muted voice comes back at me. "Don't you dare," I cry, properly shouting. "Come back." Bear appears from behind the tree and looks at me strangely. "I'm just here, Ju." "I know, but what do I say? That I'm worried that the forest will swallow him up? He's out here, where he was always meant to be. I can't keep him on a lead." "We should eat," I say instead. "What have we got?" Bear says, coming back interested. "Annie Rose made sandwiches. We should eat those before they go stale." "That bread's always stale anyway. It's like plastic." Bear pulls a face. "I want wild food." "There'll be time for that. Let's eat what we have first." There's a log, like a bench, next to where we made our tent, and we sit beside each other. Nature providing, I think, like Annie Rose told us it would. "How many miles now?" Bear asks. "A long way. It's almost 300 miles, remember? Is that too far?" "It's just how far it is. We don't know about miles and time. We never had any distance to walk in the city. Annie Rose said adults could walk for maybe 15 to 20 miles a day, but there's no way Bear could manage that. She said maybe 8 miles a day on average. Working it out makes my head spin. Even if we managed 8 miles a day, that's more than 30 days walking, more than a month. It will be December by the time we reach Ennerdale, proper winter. I can't very well tell Bear we'll be walking for an entire month, and that's not even factoring in detours for water or diverting around other cities or getting lost. Bear stopped listening anyway. He's gulping in the air. "Sniff it, Ju. It doesn't smell clean like in the city." I can't resist smiling. "That wasn't clean, Bear. That was disinfectant and weed killer." "Oh yeah," Bear says, opening his mouth wide to breathe in the forest. And suddenly, in that instant, I remember it. The smell of earth and leaves and bark. This flood of something wells up inside me, and maybe there's a voice I remember, and maybe it's Mum's, I don't know. But she's all that way north, and she never came back for us. I've got Bear now. He's mine to take to her. I can't think about all that. I make myself busy by rolling up the tarpaulins and the sleeping bags and the space blanket. Bear's carrying the blanket, but he's weirdly possessive about his rucksack, and he insists he put it on by himself. "What have you got in there?" "Nothing." I give him a strange look. What has he stashed away in there? What couldn't he leave behind? It's too late now anyway. We have what we have. "Come on, Bear. We should be on our way." We follow the arrow on the GPS along some old road. The surface is broken up with trees, their roots bursting through the tarmac, all covered in moss and the ferns I've been drawing for years. "Juniper!" Bear's voice is shrill. "Look!" It's a bird, already taking to the sky, its wings fluttering, panicked. High in the trees, before I see it properly, a flash of brown and blue and white. "Why did it fly off so fast?" Bear asks. Maybe it never saw anything like us before. "I think it's a jay," Bear says. I wish we had my book. "You don't need it. You know this," I say, quietly envious of him. How can he notice everything and not just be looking for danger? "And look, Ju, it's a squirrel." It's running up the tree fast, like it's flying too. Grey with a white belly and flecks of red on its back. Its tail, thick and coiled, moves with it like an extra limb. There are rabbits too, brown and skittish. The footprints of before are everywhere, though it's all hidden under tangled moulds of plant life. Moss, thorns, brambles, like where the princess pricked her finger on a spinning wheel and slept for 100 years, like Mary Lennox's secret garden. At first, I don't get what it all is. It's just random lines of debris. But then I start to see the shapes, the markings out. What once would have been a house, what once would have been a garden. Now the separate plots are all growing back into one. The walls are crumbling down. Even the metal is rusting away. One day it will all be powder. And somewhere, in the thickness of everything, in the depths of the shadow, there will be ticks. Chapter 31. I'm still hungry, Ju. Can I have a snack bar? I don't know, Bear. I think we should save them. We've got loads. We have to make them last. He pulls a face at me. I know what I have to do. I should have done it last night. I should have set the trap, let it work while we slept. It's not the trapping that bothers me. It's what comes next. It's the palm underneath the rabbit's chin, the pressing back of its neck, the snap. That's the bit I'm not sure I can do. The meat we ate back in the city wasn't ever alive. Not really. It was grown in a lab somewhere. Let's walk for a bit, Bear, I say, stalling. Then you can have a snack. And tonight for tea, we'll catch something. Some meat. That's what you need to fill your tummy. I thought it would feel different out here. I'd assume another kind of identity, bolder, stronger, only I still feel just like me. Every time I see a rabbit, I get this chill on the back of my neck. It's worse because they don't seem afraid of us. Not really. They're curious, friendly even. They've forgotten what people can do. Can I hold the GPS, Stu? Bear pipes up. I shake my head. That's not fair. You get to do all the good stuff. I won't break it. I promised you. He makes his eyes all big and tugs at my hand. I know that. Then it has to be high to get the best signal so it finds the best route to the satellite. Remember? Like Etienne said. And I'm taller. Bear moans, but he kind of accepts it. My lie. Am I worried he'll break it? Maybe. But it's more than that. I need it next to me, right up against my chest. This thing, this device that's going to lead us to Ennerdale. Bear's ahead of me, picking up sticks, ignoring me when I say it's too early in the day to be collecting firewood. There was this old jack-in-the-box in the Emporium. You wind a handle on the tin box and a monkey pops out at you on a spring. That's what Bear's like. In the city, his lid was closed and he was all shut up in the dark. All this light and space, he sprung back out. He's wired. It should make me happy, and it does, but I'm worried I've lost control of him. He could spring right away from me. I'm calling him back. We don't know the land yet. It's not safe. When I notice we're being watched. It's the yellow eyes I see first. I think it's a fox. A big one. But it's not. Bear, I whisper urgently. It's a cat. Sort of brown or golden with black spots, leopard-like, and black tufts on the tops of its ears. Its paws are big and furry, like it's wearing boots, and its neck is furry too, collared like a ruff, like long-ago queens. What is it, Jew? Bear asks, stopping. I don't recognise it. I don't know, Bear. Just come backwards to me, and don't turn away from it. Never turn away from a predator and run. They can't help it. You can't even blame them. It's their instinct to give chase. Bear's still like a statue, so I move instead, forwards, towards him. I should be more scared. The cat's not taking its eyes off us, though it could have pounced on Bear already if it wanted to. It's not quite as tall as he is, but it's strong, you can see that. I grab a stick and hold it up like a warning. Get my brother and I'll come for you. The tufts on the cat's ears are up, and there's a flick of its little bobtail, but it doesn't move. It stands there on its long legs watching us, watching both of us, shifting its eyes between us as if studying our connection. I stretch an arm out for Bear to bring him closer. Together we're bigger, stronger. It could have come from a zoo, Bear's saying. It could have escaped all the shooting. Some animals must have done. He's not scared at all, only curious and annoyed that he can't identify it, like his books have failed him. Then, suddenly, I know. School taught me something useful after all. It's a lynx. The Rewilders released some. A lynx, Bear says the name slowly. You didn't get them in books about British wildlife. Lynx were long gone by the time those books were written. We'd already hunted them to extinction hundreds of years before. They weren't meant to come over. They were outlawed, but the Rewilders brought them anyway. They brought them from Russia. They needed something more organic than guns, something that would still be here after the rewild, to keep deer down and rabbits, otherwise their numbers would have exploded, and with all those plant eaters, the forest could never grow. Of course, on our education board syllabus, lynx cats were another example of the rewilders' irresponsibility, letting dangerous predators loose on an overcrowded island. Why is it watching us, Stu? It's watching us intently, like it's curious. Its eyes are beautiful and outlined in black, like eyeliner, like coal. I shrug. Maybe it never saw a person before. Here, pussy pussy. The words sound familiar in Bear's mouth, even though he just learned them from stories. Bear, I whisper aghast. It's not that sort of cat. It wouldn't hurt us. We don't know that. It could be our friend. It's wild, Bear. Bear frowns. Wild's good, isn't it? Not always. The cat is blinking slowly, but its body is completely still. Someone's got to make a move. I start to back away, pulling Bear after me. Come on. Bye-bye, Bear says. Should we still be walking backwards, Ju? I think so, until it can't see us anymore. Come on, we need to find water and then somewhere to camp. And it has to be away from anything that might eat us, okay? Chapter 32. I've been aware of a river for miles now, from the GPS and from this sound just a few trees away, this watery murmur. But I've been scared somehow of what we might find. We couldn't wait any longer though, and we start walking towards the water. Before the rewild, the rivers were running brown and orange and polluted. Chemical waste from landfill, from the clogged up land, had found its way in. There were rivers that gave chemical burns if you touched them. There were rivers that would set alight if you struck a match. Annie Rose said that one of our most essential pieces of camping kit is the little tin of strips that test for clean water. She showed us how to use them before we left. I didn't have the heart to tell her that the water from our kitchen sink made the strips turn orange, meaning unsafe to drink. The river water doesn't look like it will show up blue on the strips either. It's dark, murky. Can I do it, Ju? We're standing on the bank, the tin of strips in my hand. I don't know, maybe. I think it's too steep here. The incline down to the water is thick with roots and brambles. If we tripped, we could fall right in. It's hard to tell how deep it is, but we can't see the bottom and we never learned to swim. The pool in the city was too disgusting to think about. This oily lacquer clung to the surface, this scum, disinfectant and human secretions combined. We'll have to walk upstream, I say, the new word light in my mouth. Upstream. That's somewhere it's easier to get water, but watch out for ticks. The plants are high here and close together. There must be ticks everywhere. This is their perfect terrain. Ticks are like vampires. They drink blood and hate the sun. They like dark, damp places best. Somewhere with thick vegetation where they can wait unseen for something with warm blood to pass. Questing, that's what it's called. Blackberries, like you got at the North Edge, Ju, Bear squeals. He's right. It's the same plant, the bramble, studded with little black fruits. We can be hunter-gatherers, he says, already with juice around his mouth. Any doubts he had about eating them are long gone. I pick two for the rush of it on your tongue, the sweet and sharpness together. The berries here are different to the North Edge, though. They're dull black, and there are no small firm ones waiting to ripen. These are the last this plant's got. They're okay, but there's a cloudiness, like the beginning of rot. I could go through here, Ju, Bez pointing at a parting in the undergrowth. Something's been here before us, some animal going down to drink, maybe the lynx cat. Okay, I say wearily. Go steady, okay? The ground's slippery, and we have to put our hands down on the bank to stop ourselves sliding too fast. Does the river come up this high sometimes? Or perhaps it rained recently. We have no idea about weather outside the city. I hold on to Bear's shoulders as he walks ahead, his flat soles slipping on the bank. The moment we reach the water's edge, he swings round to face me. I want to do it, Ju. You've got Etienne's GPS. It's my turn now. I hand over a strip slowly. You have to hold it in the water for 10 seconds, okay? I get this urge to shut my eyes or look up to the sky and will the strip to show the same colour, to wait for Bear to call out the word. Blue. I don't, though. I stare at the thin rectangle in Bear's hand as it moistens, darkens. It takes a few seconds for any colour to show at all. I don't know where on the scale it would be, what the name would be. what the name would be on my paint palette, but it's a blue turning into green, some kind of turquoise. It's what I always think the sea would look like. That's good, Bear. That's really good. We can drink it. We can drink it. Bear makes space for me beside him, and we cup the water in our hands and pour it into our mouths, long, wet gulps of it. It's icy and makes us shiver, but there's something else that isn't just cold. It's fresh, deliciously, beautifully fresh. So different to the stale city water that cycled around forever. There was some horrible statistic you had to try and forget about how many bodies it had passed through already and how much of it was actually plastic. The sun's a low blaze in the sky, and we probably shouldn't linger, but I've got the triumph of finding water playing in my head, one of our first and most important goals. If only there was a way to send word to Annie Rose. There must be fish in here, Bear says, bending low over the water. Maybe we could eat them. Maybe, I say again, if we can catch them. I could, Jew, and there will be some. There'll be loads. I smile at Bear's certainty. I hope he's right. It would mean the rivers are better now, and when the rewild happened, any fish were long gone. Annie Rose said the first rivers were full of dead, bloated fish, and then the bodies rotted away, and you were just left with the decay. The algae that took the place of the fish, clogging up the water like a big old net. Maybe all that made it easier to leave behind, the rivers and trees and whatever else was left by then. It wasn't beautiful anymore. Then, when people started getting sick and everyone saw how deadly the disease was, you can kind of see why they went along with everything. They walked into a cage and locked the door behind them. We haven't seen any fish yet, but there are insects, long black bodies with 4 legs outstretched like a cross. They're balancing precariously on the surface. Pond skaters, Bear declares. There's better than that too. Bear sees it first. It's another insect perched on a reed. It's long and thin and bright electric blue with 4 separate wings that are shiny and clear and partitioned, like that glass from our old apartment block. Dragonfly, I say exultantly, because I know this one. Or damselfly, I'm not sure, Bear says. Dragonfly sounds better. The creature takes to the air, into the swirls of flies, and clusters over the river. It's prey. It's like a relic of time where there really could be dragons. I think I hear its wings beating. I wish I didn't have to say we should move on. But what if those flies the dragonfly is catching are mosquitoes, and what if the disease did transfer to them? It's getting dark too. We have to move on so we can make camp while we can still see. I start filling our bottles from as far out in the river as I can reach, so it's as pure as you get. I'm doing it slowly, not wanting to lose this feeling, swirling my fingers through the water when Bear screams. Chew, what's that? He knows already. I hear the fear in the pitch of his voice, and we know that sound like we know our own heartbeats. The buzzing, the whirring, Annie Rose said was like a fly in your ear. Only the glyphosate killed most of the flies, so an annoying buzz has only ever meant one thing to Bear and me. A surveillance drone. It's just a couple of meters above the water level. The river provides the perfect path. Bear's fumbling with his rucksack. I want to say, just leave it, just run, but we need everything in that bag. I hoist it onto his shoulders and grab my bag, and we tear through the brambles, back into the trees, deeper into the forest. I was stupid to let us dawdle by the river. Of course Border Patrol would look for us. Of course they would. Abbott would have sent word first thing, the moment he realised we weren't in school. The river's the obvious place for them to look. They know we need water to survive. They'll have sent drones out in both directions. I hear it behind us, the drone of it, just like its name, mirroring every move we make, chasing us. This silver grey orb with metallic legs, loud, louder. The churned up air touches the back of my neck like fingers. Faster, Bear! It's just a machine, but you don't think about that when you're running. You just run, fast, faster, and then some. Even if a drone can't actually hurt us, someone, somewhere, back in the city, in one of their control towers or their bunkers, is seeing everything that drone sees. They know where we are, they know we're alive, and that our bags are big enough to contain supplies, which means someone helped us. This totally contradicts what Annie Rose had been going to say. Her surprise when she found the broken glass, her despair that she'd lost her grandchildren, because there's no way we'd survive out here with just the clothes on our backs. Bear, take my hand. We have to change direction. We swerve right and then left, this zigzag pattern through the trees. My head swirling, dizzy, but we keep going. Right, then left, then right again. The drone keeps after us for ages. Someone's got good reflexes. The controller, the pilot, has practiced this, and the machine flies like the dragonfly does. Fast, precise. But eventually I realise the sound is only in my head, and when I look back I can't see it. Stop, let's stop a minute. Bear collapses to the ground, his lungs heaving. I've never seen him so out of energy. Did we lose it? I think so. I have to catch my breath too. We've been running for ages, ducking under branches, jumping over roots, through the trees and the thorny scrub. You think it hit a tree? Maybe. They'll send another, though. They'll send whatever they can spare if Abbott has anything to do with it. Have you got the water, Dew? Bear asks. I pass it over, sick inside suddenly. This is the bottle I'd been refilling, the one still in my hands when we saw the drone. I left the other one on the bank. Where's the other? Bear asks, seeing my face freeze up. We'll have to make do with this one. We can go back. He gets up and starts walking back the way we came. No, Bear, I say. They'll find us. We'll just have to keep refilling this one, but more carefully now, and quickly, maybe when it's dark. Will it be okay? There's only one answer I can give. It'll rain soon. We'll catch rainwater. We'll drink that. I wish Etienne was here, Bear says. Well, he isn't, is he? I snap. You'll have to make do with me. Bear flinches, and I don't know why I'm so angry all of a sudden. Maybe because I wish it too. Not that Etienne could do any of this better. Maybe help cajole Bear, he could do that, and share the load on our backs. And be our friend, someone to talk to, help make the decisions. Etienne would have the whole route planned out. We'd know exactly where we're going and how long it should take. Bear's eyes are shiny. I shouldn't have yelled at him. We're out here alone with no Annie Rose to console him. My stomach clenches with guilt. Come on, Bear Cub. We'll get back on track and then find somewhere to make camp. Can I start collecting sticks tonight, Dew? We can make the fire. Despite everything, he's still excited. I don't know, Bear, I say slowly. I want to as well, I do. It's just with the drone nearby, it'd be like sending out a signal. We need the fire to keep the wolves away. The wolves came from the zoos. They escaped, or maybe their keepers let them go because it was better than the alternative. Better than what happened to all the pets back in the city. Rufus, Jamie and Leo, Smokey, Poppy and Bo. We'd have heard them, Bear. We were okay last night. Nothing came. And wolves stay away from people, don't they? Surely people have shown them enough times in our long hunting history. Can a species remember that? The rabbits obviously not. But the wolves are so much cleverer. That's why they're in so many old stories. You promised we'd make a fire, and I'm cold, Dew. I know, Bear, and we will, just not tonight. Bear puts his face into a sulk, a scared, sad sulk. You can make the tent. We'll need stones to weigh it down at the edges. Let's go and find the right spot. It's too dark, he says flatly. He's right, but we can't use our torches in case more drones come. We just have Etienne's GPS, which I hold out before us, a soft globe of light. We'll go by moonlight, I say, like real explorers do. And starlight? Yeah, exactly. So we'll have millions of lights to see by. We're actually quite lucky. Let's just do a couple more miles and then we'll make camp, I promise. We pick up our legs and keep walking. There are no drones. We'd hear them. But I look back anyway. I can't shake the feeling that we're being followed. Now we're up to chapter 23. That was quite a long one, but I hope you enjoyed it. Lots of things happening in that chapter. And check back tomorrow for our next couple of chapters.